Governor Christie, don't you dare!
Governor Christie, don't you dare!
We demand our courts stay fair!
We demand our courts stay fair!
Governor Christie, don't you dare!
Governor Christie, don't you dare!
We demand our courts stay fair!
We demand our courts stay fair!
I'm going to have the ability to nominate 4 justices out of 7 on the Supreme Court in my first term.
Governor Christie has attempted to make the Supreme Court in New Jersey more partisan and more divided than it has been in New Jersey history.
I would love to do everything by executive order. I've tried to do that, and sometimes it gets overturned by the courts.
What happens in the court affects all of our families. It affects our children in the schools. It affects where we can live.
Not decisions to be made by 7 people in black robes who are elected by no one and who believe that they are not a co-equal branch of government, but a superior branch of government.
Whose courts?
Our courts!
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 When we heard the decision, the final decision by the Superior Court judge and by the Supreme Court of New Jersey saying, yes, you have to be allowed to be married. That is based on the state constitution. We were so grateful to the courts as a couple and as a family and as citizens of New Jersey.
I felt that the judge really knew what was going on, that she really was taking our lives into consideration, and that she was really judging on all of the information and facts and all of the evidence.
Marriage is equal in New Jersey!
Lambda Legal filed Garden State Equality versus Dow in the Superior Court. We won a victory in the lower court, and Governor Christie appealed the case. And because of the New Jersey Supreme Court's ruling, marriage equality came to New Jersey.
When we finished the ceremony and signed that license, we walked in front of the 300 people who were there that day, and we lifted up that license, and we didn't have to say a word. We just held up that license, and everybody knew what that meant to us and how much it meant to us and how much we wanted that for so long.
The courts are there to protect us as citizens. They are the safeguards of our rights. We don't mean that judicial independence allows judges to become renegade judges and make whatever decision they wish. We need and we deserve as citizens to have judges who will decide our cases fairly and impartially based on the evidence and facts that are presented before them without any concern as to retaliation for the decision that they make.
That decision by the governor not to reappoint Justice Wallace sent shockwaves through the judiciary, and the court system has not recovered from it yet. After the 1947 Constitution, New Jersey's judiciary was regarded as one of the best state judiciaries in the country. That Constitution called for an initial appointment of judges for 7 years, and at the end of 7 years, reappointment until age 70. There was a basic understanding among all the delegates that judges would never be denied reappointment because a governor or members of the state senate who have the right of confirmation disagreed with the judge's decisions. The governor had said publicly that the main reason for his decision not to reappoint Justice Wallace was that the governor was displeased with decisions by the New Jersey Supreme Court that allocated additional school funding to poor urban districts.
So if people wonder why I want to change the Supreme Court, it's because I don't have the flexibility to change the school funding formula. I did not reappoint him because, as I said at the time, I believe he was part of the problem, not part of the solution on a liberal, activist court.
I grew up in Union City. I'm a sophomore in Montclair State. I'm actually the first person in my family to go to college. Education is definitely a right, like everyone should be able to go to college and have that opportunity to go.
All children are entitled to the same education. I don't have to worry right now about having a special ed child in my room and not having services because of how New Jersey supports their schools and the funding. I wonder if that would hold true if we didn't have the equitability that we have, and I would hope that that's where we stay because of our fair judges.
Mount Laurel decision is an abomination. We're appealing up to the Supreme Court. Yeah. Good luck.
People have a right to decent, quality, affordable housing. When the courts put their stamp of approval on it, it's very meaningful. The right to equal treatment under the law, the right to affordable housing, education, to be treated equally in marriage. All of these things are fundamental rights that would be great if the laws of each state upheld, and if legislators aren't quick enough to move it. So often the courts are critical to come in and put their stamp of approval on what are basic human rights or constitutional rights.
It is a historic day in New Jersey on several fronts. After years of controversy and campaigning, same-sex couples are legally allowed to wed beginning today, and the celebration has grown now that Governor Christie has dropped his appeal against gay marriage just 3 days after the courts ruled against his request to delay it.
It was amazing. We could take a big sigh of relief now that we're married. Our children are protected for their future. We are protected for each other.
When Governor Christie decided to drop the appeal, he stated that he strongly disagreed with the court substituting its judgment for the constitutional process of the elected branches and a vote of the people. This is just wrong. Judges have a duty to uphold the Constitution. If a law unconstitutionally discriminates against people and deprives them of their rights to equality or liberty, it is a judge's job to strike that law down.
We had it happen with Justice Wallace, Justice Holmes, who was not reappointed in 2013, and then now the fear that it might happen to Chief Justice Rabner.
There are 2 vacancies on the Supreme Court, and the failure to reappoint the Chief Justice could leave 3, and that really leaves a court in disarray. It's not the kind of a court that the citizens of the state deserve to have looking over their most important decisions.
The courts decide cases that impact nearly every aspect of our lives. Fundamentally, whether we win or whether we lose, we need to come away feeling that we've received a fair hearing from an independent court.
It's important for the public to understand that the judicial branch should be able to function, perform its duties without the outside influence of the legislative branch or the executive branch.
When somebody threatens the job of a judge and politicizes that job, that cripples our ability to protect people. Judges are there to make sure no laws are ever passed that deny you your rights.
Courts down!